most... it didn't seem like a Jurgen Klopp bust-up with the referee, put it that way. But obviously he now faces a touchline ban, and I think, you know, Liverpool will have to consider over the weekend what they're going to do. But, yeah, a touchline ban is coming his way more than likely. But it was a surprise because Arne Slot has been very calm on touchlines this season. But I have to say, in recent weeks, it has got a little bit more intense. But like I say, he's nowhere near Jurgen Klopp levels of losing it just yet.
Yeah, he does say that he regrets the sending off, of course, as that charge comes in. He now faces a 2-match ban, Martin. Is this a sign, perhaps, that he is getting a little bit more agitated, maybe, as Liverpool march towards the title? Well,
to mirror what Marcus said there, Roy Keane about 3 weeks ago commented upon how cool a bloke Arne Slot was, and how he was one of the few managers keeping it all together. And then, as Mark said, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen that kind of pressure come out. And I think what we all have to be aware of, and perhaps it's amplified because of social media, everybody out on that pitch is under, and by the side of the pitch in dugouts, is under a phenomenal amount of pressure at the minute, which we've saw. But the timing of this could, and yes, it was the last derby at Goodison Park, and hugely emotional night. And for James Tarkowski to score in the last 97th minute would undeniably every time create mayhem. But Michael Oliver's just been the subject of death threats from Arsenal fans for a decision he made whereby a foul was committed, quite a cynical foul. Most people said it probably should have been an orange card, but he went red and later was rescinded to a yellow. So it was a small margin for that. He got death threats. The next high-profile game he does really is this derby, and at the end of it, he's got the manager of Liverpool saying something so offensive that there was an immediate red card, and for which there was a level of apology today, which is nice to see from Arne Slot when he says, "My emotions got the better of me." It's very difficult for everyone to kind of turn down that emotions, but at the minute we are really pouring it all over referees. And you saw afterwards the abuse from Michael Oliver was from Liverpool fans and Everton fans and Arsenal fans were joining in, and you're like, that's our best official in this country at the minute. We perhaps need to everybody just cool the heat a little bit, and thankfully that was reflected by Arne Slot's comments today.
Now, Liverpool, of course, 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Arsenal chasing them behind. And turning to the Mirror, interesting headline from Mikel Arteta saying Arsenal can still win the title despite their injury crisis in the striker position. Mark, is he serious?
Well, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because obviously Liverpool are 7 points clear, but Liverpool they've got a tough week ahead. They've got Wolves at the weekend, but they've got Villa away midweek, and then they've got Man City away. So they're two very difficult away games. So if Liverpool have a wobble, Arsenal have to be in a position to take advantage of it. And I think, obviously, they're missing their key attackers. To lose Kai Havertz for the rest of the season is a massive blow. And I do think that Mikel Arteta has hinted that he regrets not signing a striker during the window, but they should have signed one last summer. So it's not something that's just crept up just because they've had injuries. So yeah, he talks about the workload of players, but that's across the board right now. You know, players are playing way too many games. There's so many more injuries this season. We see that Manuel Akanji's out for, I think, 12 weeks now at Man City with an injury. So clubs are playing too many games, and managers have to rotate their squads better. And Mikel Arteta's not been able to do that because they didn't sign a striker in the summer. So yes, he's right to say that players are playing too many games. This was coming, but equally he has to take some of the blame because he didn't rest his players when he should have done. He didn't have enough players in the squad, and that's down to him for not bringing the players in the summer.
Yeah, and people would point to the fact, Martin, that he didn't sign a striker in the January window, perhaps missing a trick there. He has suggested that he might look at free agents. How fruitful might that be?
I don't really think you're going to find a free agent under a stone who's going to help you win the title and stop this Liverpool team at the minute. Probably there'll be huge frustration for Mikel Arteta. Havertz with his thigh injury, Gabriel Jesus with an ACL, Saka with a thigh injury, and Martinelli with a hamstring. It's really unfortunate, and this decimated his front line. And yes, we all said, why did they not buy a centre forward in January? But you've got to be able to find somebody that's better than what you've got, and that's not easy. Having said that, they still should have strengthened to kind of be ready for this. The real frustration, I'd imagine, for Mikel Arteta at the minute is that if Arsenal had shown anything like the form they've been in the last 2 years, I think that possibly we'd be on the way to win the Premier League title. As it is, then they're not free flow, and they rely on set pieces. And now they've lost, 4 really, really good forwards. They are the only team, I think, left to compete with Liverpool for the title. And Liverpool could have a wobble, and we saw the pressure on them. But yeah, this has been a really, really bad week for Arsenal.
OK, let's move it on, because one of the matchups of the weekend will be Manchester City against...
How's Ian Wright doing? I think he would come out of retirement, just to put that shirt on one more time.
100%.
Yeah, just even for like 5 minutes, I think he would pop out just to get changed and just try and look the part with his shirt tucked in and all that.
So last season, they went to Dubai and came back with goals. This season, they've gone to Dubai and come back minus a goal scorer. That is huge trouble for Arsenal. There's no Kai Havertz, there's no Saka, there's no Martinelli, there's no Jesus.
Going to have to turn to the Wonder Kids. It's an opportunity now, isn't it? You know, for the youngsters to be given that chance, or maybe Sterling as well. Trossard, they'll have to step up some of the senior ones. But you know, when he's added features and he's an absolute threat. Big fan of his. Like Mikel Arteta says, he's got to problem solve now and give other players the opportunity. But certainly not ideal. And again, 3 hamstring injuries to your 3 striking players. That is also a little bit of a worry and something maybe to investigate for the club.
Definitely, I would think so. What do you think about the options up front and who they could possibly use to plug that gap? The gaps, actually.
Well, they play really with a false 9 anyway. So, from what I see, if there's anyone to play there, I think Sterling's done it a few times at City. I would put him there. I feel like it'll be good for him. He needs a run of games, which he hasn't got. Wingers, I feel like, to get up to steam and to get to that level you want them to get to, normally come with a run of games and their confidence builds up from there. So I think for Raheem, this is that time now. And I think Nwaneri, I think he's a fantastic player, but honestly, I'm a Lewis Skelly fan, man. The kid is unbelievable. I'll go as far as say he's probably the best, not even an actual left-back, but he's the best person I've seen at left-back since Ashley Cole.
Big chops as well. Like, honestly, what happened in the Manchester City game, I know you wouldn't want to talk about it, but the nerve on that kid.